When you picture a hacker, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's some kind of shadowy figure, right? A ghost in the machine, totally anonymous. Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to challenge that whole myth and show you just how knowable these digital phantoms really are.
Anonymous, untraceable, invisible. I mean, these are the words we always hear, the labels that are supposed to define the world's most notorious cyber threat actors. They operate from the shadows, without a name, without a face. Or so we're told.
But you really should think again. This guy? This is Charlie Wellborn. He's the founder of a hacking group called HackFreak. You see, in today's hyper-connected world, true, complete anonymity is basically a myth. And believe me, he is far from the only one who's been unmasked.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll tackle that myth of anonymity head-on. Then we'll follow the trail of data they can't help but leave behind. We'll see how investigators connect all those dots, watch as the masks come off, and finally, we'll take a look at the surprisingly human face behind the keyboard.
So let's just get this straight, right from the top. Every single thing you do online, every post, every login, every tiny little line of code, it leaves a trace. It's like a digital fingerprint. So the trick isn't being invisible, it's all about knowing where to look for the prints.
So where does an investigation even begin? Well, the first step is just to collect everything. Threat actors might think they're creating this confusing, chaotic mess, but to an analyst, it's a total treasure trove of identifiers. It's a trail of digital breadcrumbs, just sitting there, waiting to be followed.
And it almost always starts right here, with their online handles. You can see names on a screen like Zyklon and Overdose. They sound pretty anonymous, don't they? But here's the thing. A handle is a habit. People get attached to them. They reuse them across all sorts of different platforms. And that makes them the very first thread that investigators can start to pull on.
And once you have a handle, well, that's when you can start connecting it to actual infrastructure. These are just some of the domains associated with that HackFreak group. All of a sudden, a simple nickname is linked to a whole network of websites, servers, and forums. The footprint just gets bigger and bigger.
And of course, those domains have to be registered, which leads us to the next breadcrumb, email addresses. What's amazing is that investigators often find not just burner accounts, but personal ones from Hotmail and Yahoo. This is exactly where that digital persona starts bleeding into the real world. And in the HackFreak case, they even found an email right there at the bottom belonging to the group's founder, a direct link tying him right to the infrastructure.
So let's see how this all builds up. We have all these data points, handles, domains, emails, but right now, they're just a list of clues. The real magic happens when you start connecting them, when you transform all that raw data into a coherent picture of a network. The tool for this is called Social Network Analysis, or SNA. Now that's a bit of a fancy term for a really simple idea, mapping out who's connected to what and how. It's how investigators turn this chaotic jumble of information into a crystal clear map of relationships.
And this is what it actually looks like in practice. If you just follow one of these lines, you can see a specific group member. Let's call him Plus. He's connected to his personal email, which is registered to a website used by the Sun Army Group, which in turn is hosted at a specific IP address. It's one simple, undeniable chain of evidence.
But here's what's really interesting. This is what happens when you zoom out. This is the full network graph for just two interconnected groups. I mean, it looks like a galaxy of connections, doesn't it? Every single line is a relationship, a breadcrumb. So far from being invisible, their entire operational structure is just laid bare for all to see.
So, we've followed the trail, and we've mapped the network. Now comes the moment of truth. This is the climax of the investigation, where that digital trail leads directly to a front door in the real world. This is where the pixels finally become a person.
Let's take a specific example. Meet the digital persona Cyber00T, a member of Anonymous Indonesia. Sounds pretty intimidating, right? A faceless operative in some global collective?
And here he is. The mask comes off. The mysterious Cyber00 is a guy, sitting in his yard with an Asus laptop. And this just perfectly illustrates that moment of reveal. The powerful online persona is grounded in a very normal, very physical reality.
And how do we know it's him? Because he uses the same handle everywhere. Just look at this public footprint. Gmail, Facebook, GitHub, YouTube, Twitter. He's not really hiding. He's building a brand. And in doing that, he's creating this unbreakable link between his online and his offline identities.
And you know what? It's a pattern that just repeats itself over and over and over again. On the left, you've got the online persona, the handle Q7X from the Ashiane Digital Security Group. And on the right, you have the reality, Nima Salahi, a student at Sadri University.
And again, these aren't ghosts. These are photos of other members from that exact same group, and they were just pulled from their own public profiles. Behind the ominous group names and all the sophisticated attacks, they're just people. So, here's the crucial point. Once we've unmasked these individuals, we're often left with a picture that is, well, it's far more complex, and frankly, a lot more contradictory than that simple villain stereotype we all started with.
I mean, just take a look at this. This is a thank you letter from a children's cancer charity. It's addressed to Mr. Sadek Ahmadzadagan and Mr. Omaid Gaffarina, who are also known as Nitrogen 26 and Plus of the Sun Army Group. We're talking about men who are on the FBI's most wanted list for cybercrime, and here they are donating thousands of euros to help sick kids.
The letter says, children receiving treatment due to philanthropic acts like yours will have the chance for hope towards a brighter future. It's a profound contradiction. How do you reconcile being a wanted international cybercriminal with this kind of real-world charity? The human face of the hacker is rarely, if ever, a simple one.
So, in the end, that myth of the anonymous hacker, it's just that, a myth. Through handles, domains, social media, and network analysis, their digital lives really do become an open book for anyone who knows how to read it. Which leaves us with one final, provocative thought. Their lives are an open book. What does yours say about you?